Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started here in a few minutes. We're just kind of letting the attendees roll in as we speak, and we'll get started in a few minutes. Good afternoon, everyone. We are still letting people log into the system. So I'm going to just give it a couple more minutes and then we'll begin. All right, it is about 5 after 1, so we want to be thinking about everybody's time here this afternoon. So I think we're going to begin. Again, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Robin Young. I am the program manager here for the Northwest Commission's APEX Accelerator. We were formerly known as a PTAC, and we are now called APEX Accelerators. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an overview about what an APEX Accelerator is. And for those of you out there who are not a part of your APEX Accelerator or not taking advantage of the free services, I'm just going to give you a brief overview, and then we will begin with our topic of the day discussion. So if you do have a question, please put it in the Q&A part, and we will get to those questions as we go on, or if it's something for our featured speakers today, we will give that some time at the end for them to answer those questions. And I believe that's it. So let's begin. So let's talk a little bit. I think my computer is going to be a little slow. It always seems to do that on today's discussion. For this part, I will give you a brief history of the APEX Accelerator program. I'll update you on the transition from PTAC to APEX Accelerator, just in case you have not heard about our transition. We have a new mission now, and I'll just briefly go over our new mission and some of our goals, and introduce you to our new Northwest Commission APEX Accelerator staff. And then if you have any questions, you could please feel free to put those in the Q&A, and we could answer your questions about the APEX Accelerator program as the presentation goes on. So the history of the program: Procurement Technical Assistance Program. Our program was authorized by Congress back in 1984. And it had a mission to expand the number of businesses capable of participating in the government marketplace. We are administered by the Department of Defense, and our program provides matching funds through cooperative agreements with state and local governments. Some of our APEX accelerators are out of universities, and some of us are out of nonprofit organizations like us here at the Northwest Commission. We are the Economic Development Corporation for the region. We are kind of set up where the Department of Defense gives us funding based on our counties, whether they are distressed counties or non-distressed counties. And then we provide a matching share to the DoD to run this program. So we have lots of people that we have to report to, the Department of Defense, and we also have to report to the state because they also give us money to support this program. The need for change. Why has the Department of Defense decided to change us over to they gave us a new logo, a new name change, a new mission. Well, there was questions were raised in the House report of the National Defense Authorization Act in fiscal year 2020. PTACs were not being fully used to their potential. It had been discovered that some of our counselors had lacked qualified training to help our clients. We didn't receive enough support from our original administrator, which was the Defense Logistics Agency. So they really wanted to make sure we were all getting the support that we needed. And sometimes we were duplicating services of other similar federal programs like the Small Business Development Centers. And then we lacked the opportunity for performance measures. So we were authorized, the NDAA had their annual legislation and authorized funding the programs to move the program over to the Undersecretary of Defense of Acquisitions and Sustainment from the Defense Logistics Agency. It's a lot of names there. This is kind of an organizational chart that you will see. We've always been under the Department of Defense and the Undersecretary, but now we're under Acquisition and Sustainment. You'll see this is their organizational chart. You'll see Procurement Technical Assistance Centers falls right under here, and that happened in November of 2022. We are now in the Pentagon, which is pretty cool. And our mission now is to serve as an access for existing and new businesses to strengthen that defense industrial base by accelerating innovation, fostering ingenuity, and establishing resilient and diverse supply chains with a vision as a diverse, resilient domestic industrial base that can deliver distinguished solutions to the military and other government users. So we kind of have a new focus, not so much bringing that buyer with the government, the buyer with that supplier, and increasing the opportunity is still a mission, but now we have some more specific visions with the Department of Defense. You'll notice here that APEX accelerators are a nationwide program. We're located in every state in the United States. We're kind of go by either a statewide contract. You'll notice in the red dots, some of the states only have one contract with the government, and that's a statewide, or you'll see the green dots are regional. Here in Pennsylvania, we are all regional. There are about 7 APEX Accelerator contracts with the Department of Defense, and we have some sister offices. So every county is covered with a local office. So it's pretty easy to find your APEX Accelerator in your backyard. And then we have Native American APEX accelerators indicated by the purple dots that are on there, and they have a larger geographical area that they have to serve. There are about 90 plus APEX accelerators, over 300 local offices. Our APEX accelerator, we call them our family. We all support one another. Some of us have more experience than others in certain areas with government contracting. Some have been doing this for a long time. Some of my colleagues are actually from the military or retired contracting officers or served in some kind of form in the government, and now they're working for an APEX Accelerator. So I call them my phone a friends when I need advice or assistance on a certain topic. All I need to do is reach out to one of them and they can help. All of our services are free, one-on-one counseling and training down below. And these slide decks will be provided to everyone, so you can take advantage of some of these hyperlinks here. This link down here will take you to our national website that will help you find your APEX Accelerator. Even though PTAC is still listed in there, you'll be able to find your APEX Accelerator by clicking on that, just narrowing it down by state and then down by county. If you have any problems finding your local APEX Accelerator, just reach out to one of us and we can help you. Again, you will work with the APEX Accelerator that's located in your backyard, wherever your headquarters is located, or the division that's doing business with the government. That's the APEX Accelerator that you will work with. Even if you wanted to do business in California, you would still work with me here in Pennsylvania. So we have new goals. Our new goals are to one of the most important missions for the Department of Defense is to increase that defense industrial base. They are seeing a decline in suppliers in the defense industrial base. So we have about 200 suppliers right now, and that's been a huge decrease in the last couple of decades. So their new mission now is to really help us focus on creating new companies that are ready to do defense work. Also, to help increase that government industrial base. This is any of your civilian agencies or any of your state and local agencies. We're here to help you do business with them as well. and really to find who is your customer within the government. We're here to help increase equity and inclusion. We have a new focus on foreign ownership, control, and influence foci. We do trainings now on that to help people be aware of foreign ownership and how that could affect some of your contracting and affiliations for your business. Since 2016, one of the things that we've been really focusing on is the cybersecurity requirements. And that's why we have our great presenters here today to talk about what resources that they have available. But that is one of our goals, is basically to really help companies find those resources, information, understand the regulations. Here at the APEX Accelerator, we understand the regulations. So we help you and guide you to those proper resources. I'm not an IT expert, so I can't help you with that, but I can help you understand what the government wants you to do as far as requirements. We're here to also facilitate innovation, look for companies that have new innovative products, and get you connected to the programs that can help you find funding to do research and development on that product or service. We're here to strengthen that supply chain by helping our clients understand that there are funding opportunities, financial opportunities out there that can really support you as a domestic company to help strengthen that supply chain. There's a little, it's a program called the Defense Production Act, which has funding, loans, grants that can help you support your company and build your company to a point where you can be competitive or be able to be a part of that supply chain. And we can help you get connected to that. And then also we're one of our, this is not really a goal yet, but something that we are doing is to capture market data for the government in the key industries within the region that we serve, and get that information back to the government so they know what's going on in our area. So again, we have a new mission, but if you're familiar with a PTAC, our APEX Accelerator now, we have a new mission, but we still provide some of the same old services that we've provided before, like SAM registrations, helping you put a proposal together, understanding the federal acquisition regulations, a same old thing, but we have a new focus. And we also will help with federal, state, and local. Continue that down that path. So one of the things that we now focus on more intently now is to really sit with a client and help you develop a plan of action and milestones from start to finish. We help you, we tell you, this is where we have an initial meeting we'll set up with you. And if you decide you want to do business with the Defense, Department of Defense, then we will create that plan of action with you. We will show you from start A to start Z where you need to go, what kinds of things you need in place to get to that point where you're ready to do business with the Department of Defense or with one of the civilian agencies. So we create that plan with you, and we give you homework. We give you, make you accountable for getting you to that point. We also are responsible for helping you with certain things, but we also make our clients responsible. So we design this plan for you at the beginning, and you get a copy of that plan, and then we work on that plan as we get through the process. And some of these things here are a checkoff list of things that the government is requiring us to talk to you about. Getting you registered, getting you certified if you qualify for some of the social economic statuses, understanding contract responsibility, developing a capability statement, preparing you for cybersecurity requirements, which we're talking about today, helping you understand market research, conducting market research. We have a tool that will help you find out who your competitors are, find out what government agencies are buying your product or service, help you understand how they buy it, when they buy it. We will help you develop these skills. And then anything that takes to do business with the government, or civilian agencies or state and local, we are here to get you through that process. We develop that plan with you so that you are ready to become a qualified supplier. And sometimes we have to be the bad news person. We have to tell you maybe you're not ready for government contracting yet, and that's okay. But at least you had a conversation. You realize, I need to get some things in place before I can start doing with the business with the government. That is okay. You can come back to us in a couple years when you're ready to move on. Or maybe you'll find out the government really isn't buying what I'm selling. So let's focus on our commercial work. So sometimes we have to be that person that delivers that bad news to you, but that's okay. Well, we're here to help you with no matter what area you're going in. Here's our staff here at the Northwest Commission. I am the manager for the Northwest Commission APEX Accelerator. I've been here for 11 years, going on 11 years. Melissa Becker, she's been here for about 9 years. We are both certified procurement professionals. We went through a rigorous program to become capable of helping you. And then our newest member, Aaron Ritzig, which, he's going on 1.5 years. It seems like he's still new, but he is really gone after learning everything. And he is an APP, his Associate's Procurement Professional certification now, and he's working towards his CPP, which I believe he will have done by the end of this year. So we're really excited to have Aaron a part of our team. Again, if you are not in our service region, which we cover 8 counties, Erie, Crawford, Warren, Clarion, Forest, Mercer, Lawrence, and did I say Clarion and Venango? Crawford and Venango counties are in that footprint. So if you are not in our footprint, then, again, use that nationwide link that I put up in a couple slides or earlier couple slides to find your APEX Accelerator. To become a client or to refer a client to us, just go to our website and you can actually request to have services on our website. Again, here's our counties. I cover Erie and Warren. We've been serving the Northwest Commission APEX Accelerator. In this office, we've been serving companies for 38 years now. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to put those in the chat. I am going to switch over to our other PowerPoint. Are we seeing one screen?
Yeah, it is run a bit slow. No problem though.
Yeah, it is. Clicking on things, it's kind of running slow. But so today, we are really excited here at the Northwest Commission. We have a couple individuals that are professionals that are going to talk a little bit about their program, the Pennsylvania Cybersecurity Resource Center. We have, I believe I'm going to say it wrong, Matt Palguta. Is that how you say your last name? And then we have Scott
That's correct.
Zimmerman. They're both from an organization called Concurrent Technologies Corporation, or better known as CTC. They are an independent, nonprofit applied scientific research and development professional services organization. And I'm going to let them give you a little bit more of a background on their program organization. And I'm going to let you guys take it away. Again, if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. Are you guys okay with answering questions at the end, or would you like to take them as we move along?
Either or.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And I am going to move your slides when you're ready.
Good afternoon. My name is Scott Zimmerman. I'm the Chief Information and Security Officer at Concurrent Technologies Corporation, or CTC. In my role, I'm responsible for all things cyber compliance at the company, and specifically for the past few years, meeting the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification, or CMMC, as well as the DFAR cybersecurity requirements. I'm also one of the subject matter expert on the Resource Center team. Matt, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Matt Palguta, Senior Director of Cybersecurity Engineering here at CTC. Long background in federal contracting, FedRAMP, and managing building security programs. I'm also a CMMC assessor, so I'm one of the scary auditors. And one of the things that our program offers is a chance to interact and ask questions of an assessor in a low stress environment before you ever get to the actual assessment.
Thanks, Matt. Hey, before we get started, we'd like to take an informal poll using the chat feature of the webinar. We'd like to know, of the companies attending today, how many intend to achieve CMMC level 1, and how many are looking to go on to level 2 certification. And of course, if you're unsure, you can tell us that as well. But we'd appreciate it. We can talk about that a little bit later. But next.
It is moving slow. Come on. There we go.
As I'm sure you're aware, companies within the United States are under attack daily from cyber criminals, foreign adversaries, and nation states. Much of this attack is focused on the defense industrial base, or the DIB, with the bad actors searching for intellectual property, intelligence, as well as personally identifiable information, or PII. This loss of intellectual property cost the DoD, US government, and taxpayers billions and billions of dollars annually, which is just not sustainable, and causing us to lose our competitive advantage. Due to this, 7+ years ago, the DoD began rolling out cybersecurity compliance requirements to the DIB. Many of these requirements have shown up as contract clauses over the past few years and require members of the DIB to meet a minimum security standard and report to the DoD when there's cyber incident, as well as perform a self-assessment, the SPURS score. Meeting these compliance requirements is no small task, and many members of the DoD supply chain have threatened to no longer work as defense contractors. So the state of Pennsylvania, seeing this and being concerned, worked with the CTC and funded this. What we're going to talk about today is the PA Cybersecurity Resource Center. Next. Well, that was good. The Resource Center opened up a little over a year ago to help small to medium-sized businesses within the state to get DoD cyber compliant. Since then, we've broadened our services a bit to also include companies outside of the defense industrial base. So basically, these services are available to any PA small to medium-sized business. The center provides companies access to several grant-funded or free cyber services. Can't stress that enough. Everything we're going to talk about today are grant-funded or free. These includes general cybersecurity advisory services, compliance services, and training and education, as well as several others. Under advisory services, we work with companies to help them improve their cybersecurity posture. The services can range from providing guidance on security best practices to conducting security assessments and remediation, as well as building of a cybersecurity program. The process of building a cybersecurity program can be a difficult one depending on the state of your cyber maturity, but the center staff can help you get started by setting up an action plan to get you going. The compliance services are a big part of what we do. The center offers free of charge CMMC pre-assessments of up to 24 hours of professional services time from the center's subject matter experts. We have these pre-assessments engagements broken down into 3 phases, with the first phase being interviews with your company staff who are responsible for the compliance. Through these interviews, we will be able to gauge your current cybersecurity state or posture, and this will inform the second stage, which is the review of your system security plan and your plan of action and milestones, and any policies or procedures you may have developed. So through the interviews and review of your documentation, the center then will generate a compliance gap assessment or a report that paints a picture of where you currently are at and what it will take to become fully compliant. We are taking requests for this service now with the current lead time to start between 4 to 6 weeks. The earlier you get into our queue, the faster we can get to you. So we fully anticipate our queue to continue to grow. So well as the lead times will grow as well. So the sooner you can start working with us, the better. Next. I'm sorry. Under compliance services, we also offer CUI program development. I forgot to talk about that. One of the most difficult things beyond the technical controls is the development of processes for handling CUI within your company. The center subject matter experts will provide guidance on how to create the policies and procedure it takes to get and stay compliant. We are also providing a system security plan or SSP workshop on site at CTC in beautiful Johnstown, Pennsylvania. We held one of these workshops a few months back, and everybody that attended found it to be a very valuable thing to them. If you're not familiar, the SSP and the plan of action and milestones are required pieces to meet DFAR 7012, 19, and 20. Which Matt will talk about in a few minutes. All the services provided by the center are grant funded or free, so you simply need to get into the queue. No strings attached. Next. So who is Concurrent Technologies Corporation? We went over this a little bit at the beginning, but CTC is an independent, nonprofit, applied scientific research and development professional services organization, which is quite the mouthful, in Johnstown. We've been in business for over 35 years now. Have worked in cybersecurity space for well over 20 years. We have nationally recognized cyber subject matter experts, and our nonprofit status allows us to make vendor and product agnostic recommendations to our clients. We sell no products. Our philosophy will always be to make the business or mission secure and then make it compliant. Next. This is a screenshot of the center's website. If you have the opportunity, please check it out. The site for additional cybersecurity resources or other things that are offered by the center, as well as the bottom right-hand corner there, you see there are upcoming events. Please let us know if there are any other topics that you would like us to cover on the site as well. There's a contact us button there that you can put things in, and we can add additional content to the website. But that's also a good way to get in touch with us. So here to talk to you more about cybersecurity compliance is Matt. Take it away, Matt.
Okay, thank you. We go on to the next slide. Here, one of the first things in the Resource Center website is building that cyber program. Now, whether you're a defense contractor or a small to medium business looking to set up or begin the cyber journey, maybe you're looking for answers for your cyber risk insurance underwriter. The foundation to that is having a plan, a documented program that you can point to, whether it's the CMMC certification or your insurance carrier with an annual survey asking, how are you protecting your data or your business against cyber breaches? We can help you with that, whether it's defense industrial base or not. Foundation that we recommend is based on the NIST cybersecurity framework, and we can go through the individual stages and show you how that fits with what you currently have and help you fill out that program and make it self-sustaining. Your resources, your talent within the organization, we can help them sustain, maintain that, and be that trusted advisor that they can reach back to if they have questions or concerns that come up while they're running your program. Okay, go on to the next slide. On the specifics for Department of Defense contracting, as Scott mentioned, the requirements have been around for a while. The 7012 DFARS had an effective date of the end of 2017, and that was contractors implementing the security controls in the NIST Special Publication 800-171. The other component of 7012 was to be able to provide reports of cyber incidents that affect DoD information within 72 hours to the Department of Defense. That requires a little setup, a little preparation, but that's been around for a while. Unfortunately, they found that the explanation or the understanding of the requirements was not very well conveyed. The Defense Authorization Act back in 2020 came out, said that, all right, we're going to need a validation, some way of certifying the compliance with this. And that was the origin for CMMC. The 7019, 7020 DFARS had a requirement at the end of 2020 for defense contractors to go into what's called the SPURS system, or Supplier Performance Risk System, and put a basic assessment, a self-assessment of how well they were doing. There's a scoring methodology to that, and defense contractors are required to put that in. Contracting officers are required to check that. Prime contractors are supposed to look at their subsidiaries or subcontractors and see how they're doing. Now, do you have a score in there? That's slowly rolling out. That hasn't always been routinely checked, but there's been some reinforcement in directives from the Department of Defense to their folks to actually check on this, and having a basic score, any score in there, is pretty much a barred entry currently. And like the 171 requirements, that scoring wasn't well conveyed or understood. How does that work? And part of our workshop that we're working on scheduling another one, and part of our engagement is to help you understand, how does that scoring work? What's my score? Because the follow-on to a basic assessment is the DoD doing a medium or a high assessment, and that's where they review your system security plan, or they actually come out and assess your program. And the average change in scores from self-assessment to DoD assessed drops by about 54 points. So out of 110, that's a pretty big gap between self-assessments. So part of our task is to help understand that score and how to do better on it. We'll take our primary focus is taking credit for good work. You've got practices, procedures in place. We can help you shore up or explain what the difference is for DoD requirements, show you how to get there. Okay, we'll go on to the next slide. Okay. So CMMC is the final exam. The rules have been around for quite a while, since 2017, but the actual certification is an assessment, an audit by an independent third-party organization, and it's had its starts and stops. We're now on version 2.0. It's in the process of getting into the Federal Code of Federal Regulations and the DFARS. The next stop is going to be the DoD's Office of Small Business, and then the Office of Management and Budget will get the proposed rule, and we're looking probably at next summer until that gets out. It'll have a public comment period. They'll have to respond to all the comments, and then issue the rule, get it published in the Federal Register, and it'll become an actual DFARS probably end of summer next year. Seems like a long time, and it's been a long time getting started and revised and updated, but the DoD really wants to get this right. As Scott mentioned, there's concern that this will put off organizations, and they'll depart the defense industrial base because of the level of effort required. Right now, CMMC is only DoD prime subcontractors. Other agencies are looking at the 171 requirements. They want to see how CMMC rolls out. The practices in 171 likely will appear in other federal contracting. The CMMC certification may or may not be duplicated by other agencies. Some may even adopt it, but likely those practices are a good thing to look at, and will eventually cover all government contracts. Won't happen soon, but it will get there. Because there are basic best practices, good cyber hygiene to protect government information. And for some of the folks that responded uncertain, we're not sure what level or whether we're going to need CMMC. Eventually, DoD contractors will need one of three levels. Level 1 is federal contract information. That's basic contract information. It's not classified. It's not secure or secret or top secret. It's basic information that the DoD would rather not get out to general public, but it's part of contracting. Maybe some proprietary company data of yours, and also the arrangements for contract between you and the government. It's the basic level, and there are 17 controls that are applied to that. Level 1, that's a self-assessment. So you would attest that you meet these controls in that SPURS system with your scoring, and that's an annual attestation. So pretty much the basic level. Now, moving up to CUI, or controlled unclassified information. This was also previously called for official use only. CUI data requires some protection because in aggregate, CUI can provide information to adversaries that could create copies of U.S. technology. Enough CUI eventually becomes a secret or top secret program. So a lot of the defense industrial base will build or machine certain parts that go into systems, that go into weapon systems, or go into one of their use cases is nuclear propulsion. It's the entry, the foundational pieces of the defense industrial base that our adversaries are very interested in. They collect and aggregate and then infer designs. We can see that in some of the Chinese and Russian military hardware that looks an awful lot like our next generation fighter aircraft or armored personnel carriers. It looks suspiciously like our designs. Maybe not as completely mature, but they've taken a lot of that information. They've been able to gather that. So that's what the Defense Department is trying to protect here. Get them, make it harder to get that foundational information so that we're not seeing knockoffs in the battlefield. Okay, we go on to the next slide. Okay, some updates. The timeline has shifted a little bit. As I said, probably end of summer next year before it moves on through the comment period and to a final rule. But plan ahead. Implementation will be laid out in the plan, but your preparations, the basics for policy, procedure, process, can take companies 12 to 24 months. CTC's journey, a fairly good sized organization, 500 people and a number of locations. We're on our 24th month. We've been at this for 2 years. There's a lot of moving parts, especially as that multiplies out over different programs. The expectation is that most primes and their subcontractors are going to need to achieve level 2. If you're just doing some basic information, supply contracts, that generally is going to be level 1. If you're receiving information from the Department of Defense, processing, storing, transmitting that, and then returning that, or creating products based on that, you're very likely to see CUI designation on the documents, and then you have the requirement to protect it according to the 171 rules. So we're expecting that a lot of companies will get CUI contract notifications. The clauses will be in the contracts, and you'll see CUI data even before that. But the expectation is once it rolls out that you'll need to achieve the certification. The assessment process can take a couple of months to go through with the prep, and then the interviews, the review, scheduling with a third-party assessment organization. There are currently 42 third-party assessment organizations. CTC's in the process of becoming one as well. But if we help you build your program, we can't do your assessment. From an ethical standpoint, that has to be a separate organization. But as I said, it pays to start early, and with the engagement with the PA Cyber Resource Center, we can get you started on that, give you an idea where you are, what the gaps are, a roadmap to get to certification to get you ready. If you need further help building a program or training folks beyond the grant funding, we can arrange for an engagement there. We can talk about that once you've got your gap assessment, you see where the road ahead lies. But we're also available beyond the grant to help. Okay, go on to the next slide. Okay, part of our feedback for your program is, what are the top problem areas that other companies like CTC or the third-party assessment organizations, they have to go through certification too. What is the Defense Department seeing as the primary hurdles? And they update this regularly. We provide this to clients. What are those problem areas that other companies see? FIPS validated Federal Information Protection Standard cryptography, and validating that you're using the right cryptography to meet the rule there, the 3.13.11. Multi-factor authentication, and we see companies have multi-factor, but it isn't widely enough deployed. The requirement there is for any off-network or cloud services, as well as any administrative functions, admin for firewalls or database admin, any of those elevated privileges, whether they're on or off the network. So we see gaps where companies almost have it, but not quite. Identifying and correcting system flaws, patching, a vulnerability management program, and how that feeds into a risk assessment program, the risk of, okay, comment down below there. That's correct. That's what DIBCAC is. Scanning for vulnerabilities, essentially a integrated risk assessment program. The rules here kind of tie together, and what we see as pieces, but not a full risk assessment program. Logging, this is a tough one. Getting all of the appropriate audit and accountability controls where you're collecting the right logs, you're updating, and you're alerting, number 7 here, when the logging fails, if something drops off. And then that last one, 335, the audit review, analysis, and reporting, that's a SIM tool or similar. How do you get the information? You have all this data coming in. How do you distill that to actionable data to spot vulnerabilities or to spot active exploits? And then instant response. Do you have an instant response capability? Do you have that outsourced? Do you test that annually? And that annual test is one of the things we typically see is missing. But it's in the rules, and the Defense Department wants to see that at least annually. And then configuration, baseline configurations. A lot of companies have standard process. Yeah, we set up machines this way, but they don't have formalized configuration management to point to. A lot of that is when the assessor, me, comes in. There has to be a breadcrumb trail to follow to collect enough evidence to prove that you actually do this, and to generate the artifacts to submit to the Department of Defense to say, yep, we've assessed this. They meet the controls. Here's the proof of it. What a lot of times what we want to see is a ticketing system, help desk system, something that where you record actions, and I can follow that on an assessment. I can go find the people and say, okay, we're going to do an interview. Show me how you responded to this vulnerability, your timeline, your process. But something we can actually document. One of the standard sayings, if it isn't documented, it didn't happen. So make that easy on yourself. And that'll be part of the guidance that we provide, is how to track that, how to make that audit record available. Okay, go on to the next screen. Okay, here's the contact information. This is our website off of our main Concurrent Technologies page. It'll redirect you in there. As Scott was saying, the backlog is always growing. We do prioritize folks handling CUI in the defense industrial base, but we can be contacted at cybersecurity at CTC or individually. We have emails, phone numbers. John's our executive director for compliance. Scott, as he mentioned, is our CISO. I'm senior director, and Rich Wolford is our program manager for the Cyber Resource Center. He's one that does the scheduling and keeps us all on track. Okay, go on to the next slide, but I think that's it. We'll open up for questions.
Thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate that. That was great information, and it's so welcoming, and today's people. When we work with clients all the time, or looking for these kinds of resources. So we're really glad you guys came to speak today to our client base, and I'm hoping that I know some clients right now that hopefully will be reaching out to you soon. Again,
Okay.
Here at the APEX Accelerator, we can actually, before you meet with CTC, we can actually schedule an in-house training or in-house meeting with your management teams, to just have a brief discussion on these requirements, so that like sometimes, it's like in the slides, it's not an IT issue, or it's not all IT. It's 60% of the controls are IT related, and the other 40% are policy changes or policies that you need to put in place to be in compliance. So we can talk about some of that with your members of your team. One of the things that we often recommend is, you need to start putting a cyber team together in your organization so that we can tackle all these, everything that's, required. So if that's something you want to do, you can reach out to one of us, and we can set up a meeting with you, and then we refer you on to CTC and other organizations that do this kind of help. So we're very, very thankful that you guys came on today. Do we have any questions in the audience? Now's your time to get your questions answered. If nothing, again, you can reach out to these guys. I'm sure they'd, welcome your questions on an individual basis. So just maybe wait.
Yeah, and it's no problem. The slides are freely distributable. If folks want a copy of that, they can either email us, or you're free to distribute them to your organization.
That sounds good. Yeah.
There's no classified information in them.
Okay, awesome. I will actually share both of our slide decks with everyone who attended today. And I believe that, we do have it recorded too.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, Bonnie, we'll get you that. Nicole as well. Well, I don't believe we have any urgent questions at this moment. Well, I just want to thank Matt and Scott for coming on today. Again, appreciate it. And we're here. There's, it's kind of nice knowing that we have some people in our background that in our backyard that can be here to help us out. Johnstown's not too far away. All right.
Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. Well, I guess we'll say goodbye for the day. And again, I'll send out slides to everybody and we'll go from there. Thank you.
All right.
Have a
Thank you.
good rest of your day. Thank you.
Thanks, you too.